Bureau there, and Danny Ayalon, who's former Deputy Foreign Minister of Israel. Hello to you. Have you given up on the talks? Is there any plan for Israel to go back to Cairo?
Well, we are very reluctant warriors. We would like to continue the talks, but not under fire, as Hamas tries to extort more through casualties on both sides to get their conditions. And you know, I feel with the people of Gaza. They certainly are entitled to their freedom and to prosperity, but the Hamas, you know, is a criminal, a terrorist organization. Just like in every normal society, you put criminals in prison, they are responsible for what's happening in Gaza. And we say, you know what, if you disarm, if Hamas disarms, we are very happy to open up Gaza, and of course we need just to have a verifiable regime of monitoring to make sure that what happened in the past, that all the cement, millions of cubic meters that went into Gaza, instead of building schools and hospitals, went to building these attack tunnels. Same thing was with iron, same thing with other dual use, and certainly, of course, all the inflow of munitions and armaments. This has to stop, and then, of course, we can restore peace and security, not just for the people of Israel, also for the people of Gaza.
Okay, but
hopefully we can build a future together.
That is an interesting answer, in that if it is shared by the Israeli government, you're absolutely not ruling out going back to Cairo there, although obviously the issues are very difficult. So let's assume that everybody does get back around the table, or proximity talks, or whatever you want to call them. Hamas, of course, is calling for an end to the blockade. Is there any sort of movement that can be made in that respect?
Absolutely. I would say that the end of the blockade for monitoring regime to make sure that armaments and rockets from Iran or financed by Qatar will not threaten Israeli kindergartens and kids and people all over the country, as we have seen now. You know, in the last 4 weeks, we have sustained more than 4,000 rockets, and they are fired indiscriminately on Israeli civilian populations. They, of course, doing it from civilian populations in Gaza, using population in Gaza as human shield. So this is why we are very, very restrained. This is why we didn't take over Gaza in a very massive ground attack. So it all depends on the Hamas. If they will be willing to allow the international community to monitor, to make sure that everything that goes into Gaza will be used for humanitarian, for the economy, and not for military and terrorism, then I think everything will be open for negotiations and implemented.
Can I ask you about the British Disasters Emergency Committee has had an appeal here which has been widely televised, and in 24 hours has raised £4.5 million specifically for Gaza. Do you have a message to people wishing to donate to that cause at a time when hostilities are still continuing between the two sides?
Sure, I would welcome very much any donation, any humanitarian support, but just make sure that this money goes to the people and doesn't go to the Hamas, goes to the right causes, to the just causes, and not to terrorism. And I think then that would be a very, very good message for everyone, because what we see here, and you have just reported about the American attacks against ISIS and Al-Qaeda in Iraq. There is an alliance between Hamas, Muslim Brotherhood, ISIS, Al-Qaeda, all these extreme terror organizations. They feed on each other, they help on each other, and this is why we need to have a solution, an end of terrorism in Gaza, because that would also signal to terrorists in other areas in the world, specifically in Iraq and Syria, that they cannot win through violence and terrorism.
Okay, Danny Ayalon, thank you very much indeed. Thank you.